What up, people? Kamari Ellis here. You're watching the Finance Rebel Show, or you're listening to the Finance Rebel Show. Just popping on real quick because I have something I want to get off my chest. Right, so this is going to be a quick drive by, quick run in, tap in with y'all. And today's title of this episode is "The higher your tax refund does not mean the better the quality of your tax return." Okay, again, the higher the quality of your tax refund does not mean the higher the quality of your tax return. Okay, so before I get into that, just want to talk about a couple of things real quick. Listen, everybody knows or should know by now that tax day, the tax filing date, the deadline has been moved from April 15th to May 17th. The IRS is getting slammed, and so they need a little bit more time to get things through. All right. If you are one of many people who have not gotten your tax refund back yet, just know that it might not be coming anytime soon. Why is that? Because there are millions of tax returns that have not been processed. All right. Last stat I saw that the IRS has over 25 million tax returns that need to be reviewed by a human, by an actual human being. There's a lot of tax returns that actually get processed by the computer. The IRS uses AI, right? They use AI, artificial intelligence, to go through a lot of things and also do a lot of investigations. But as it stands right now, as they're processing tax returns, they are behind. All right, so I just wanted to warn everybody about that. So like I said, about 25 million. All right. But what I wanted to come through and talk to you all today about real quick is that many times people think if you get a good or high tax refund, that your tax return was done well, with quality, with care. That's not always true. A lot of times we have a lot of these tax firms that market getting you a high tax refund. I tell people to avoid those places and those people at all costs. I call it tax refund marketing. We see a lot of the big box tax refund factories. Okay, a lot of tax refund factories that will advertise that. And they do that because it plays on the emotions of your average consumer, your average individual, your average tax pro or taxpayer, excuse me. But it's a lie, right? They're really slanting the truth to get you to come do business with them. And I get it. All marketing, all sales usually is predicated on some type of emotional trigger. People typically, this is all science, research, data backed. People usually don't make decisions based on logic. They make decisions based on how they feel. And so, especially in my community, the Black community, you see a lot of tax shops advertise tax refunds. If you go to other communities that don't look like us, that don't have the same level of melanin in their skin, they are not advertising tax refunds. They're advertising that they can help reduce your tax liability, your tax bill, because oftentimes they're making money. So again, ask yourself why. Why is that? And so today, what prompted me to do this was a colleague of mine, another tax pro colleague of mine, did a return or several returns for a client of theirs on a rush job. And one of the things that they said to this tax pro kind of got me ticked a little bit, but we hear it all the time. But what they said was, for the amount of money that they're charging to do the tax return, it should be a great and high tax refund. Okay. Now I know a lot of times in our community we'll say, "Did you get your tax return yet?" Right? And it's synonymous with tax refund. So I'm being very, very careful not to mix the two, because doing your tax return and getting your tax refund are two different things. Even though that's the way our folks talk, they talk about it as a tax return. Did you get your tax return yet? And so again, oftentimes that leaves us in a pickle, in a quandary, because we think, again, because the better your tax return, your tax refund, I'm even confusing it, y'all. The higher your tax refund, the better your tax return was done. And that's an absolute lie. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why it's a lie. Oftentimes people lie on their tax returns to get a higher tax refund. All right, so that's number one. A lot of times when I'm reviewing clients' tax returns, I will run across this scenario. People will be looking at these returns and they're like, I don't know where this came from. And this could be real estate investing expenses. Sometimes it's a business expense. The client doesn't have a business, but the previous preparer, the previous tax pro, and I say tax pro in this context with air quotes, just made it up. Or at least that's what the client is telling me. Now, sometimes, just going to keep it funky with y'all, a lot of tax preparers or a lot of clients will do things that are janky, to do things that will be in their short-term economic interest. Again, short-term economic interest, because they think they're getting over it. And a lot of times they do, but a lot of times they don't. Talking about the higher quality or the higher level of tax refund, people are still selling kids. As funny as it is, people are still selling kids to be used on tax returns so they can get a higher tax refund. All right. I mean, so there's a whole lot of other things that are going on. There's a whole lot of ingredients in this tax refund cake that are ingredients that should not be in there. And a lot of times, again, it's done wrong, and it positions tax pros, like real tax pros, that prepare your tax return according to the law, according to the IRS tax code, what many call the IRC. It puts them in a bad position because, again, I believe most of us want to do a good job. Do we have bad actors? Yes. Are there plenty of bad apples in the bunch? Yes. They get talked about quite often. They get charged, and those people that go to jail or get charged wind up in the paper somehow, some kind of way. And you hear me talk about them sometimes right here on the Finance Rebel Show. I call it taxpayer shenanigans. But I do believe the majority of us, the large majority of us, want to do a good job, want to be good stewards for their clients. They want to do it right. At least the crew that I hang around with, right? That's all I can really speak to at this point. But again, the higher your tax refund does not mean that your tax return was done correctly. All right. We got a lot of factors, right? Many people don't tax plan. So they wait till tax season right now, February, March, April, now May, because tax season has been extended, to start thinking about taxes. When in fact, taxes are probably your biggest expense you will ever bear in life, but we give it little attention. We pay more attention to our vacation plans, our eating out on the weekends, and some of us every day, than we do our taxes. But the taxes erode many of a chance to get wealthy, to become rich, as some of us like to say. So, again, you just have to really think about this. The quality of work, again, in a tax refund or tax return does not determine your tax refund. It's determined by following the law. Now, listen, there's Courtney Richardson, the Ivy investor. We have our whole thing called the Unlocking the Tax Code for Black Investors and Entrepreneurs, right? And we understand that a lot of people don't understand tax, don't understand the power and leveraging tax. And oftentimes, many of us pay too much in taxes every year. But you can't leverage the tax code by being reactionary, by following the programming. My name that I was adorned with, that I wear often, is the Finance Rebel. Well, I believe in rebelling against all the nonsense. The nonsense that we should just keep spending and you can spend your way to wealth, right? Fake it till you make it. That usually doesn't work for most people, okay? Being thoughtful, working hard, working smart, that's how you really get to it, right? There is no future in financial faking. And a lot of folks that, again, want these high, super duper high tax refunds, tax refunds. I'm confusing it now when I'm talking about it. They're lost in the sauce. And again, they're worried about the wrong thing, and they're worrying about it at the wrong time. Timing is important. So when you can start being proactive in tax planning, you can get a higher tax refund according to the law, though, right? Again, we don't want to do anything that is unethical and unlawful. We've seen enough people go to jail from the Black community, right, over tax evasion. Wesley Snipes, Lauryn Hill, Fat Joe, there's many, many others. We don't need to add that, right? So right now, I'm asking everybody that's within the sound of my voice that can see me on these lives or these videos, remember, a larger the tax refund does not mean that your tax return is done correctly. Oftentimes, it is done improperly, and people are just trying to get you more money so they can get more money. There's even jokers out here who charge a percentage on your tax refund. That's illegal, by the way. The IRS severely frowns on that. So again, when y'all thinking about these things, when you're looking at these things, you want to pay a professional, you want to pay them to do their job. Professionals, not the people that are at the back of the gas station and the chicken wing spot. You want to pay professionals, right? And we live in a virtual space now. So again, it doesn't mean that they have to have an office or don't have an office. But when you see a thing that is not done in a professional setting, something is off. But not to forget Madoff, right? Who made off with billions of dollars, actually had an office in major New York real estate, who had a professional setting, was still taking people for their money, right? So again, I don't want people to get deluged by what I just said or miss out on what I'm saying, right? Yeah, you have a lot of janky people doing a lot of janky stuff in very janky places, right? But you also have janky people doing things in quote unquote professional spaces as well. What I would suggest is you find somebody that's reputable, that has been doing it for quite some time, and that has receipts, right? That has receipts. If they're not known by anybody in the community, I would say avoid them. Now, if it's somebody brand new and they're just getting started, you can give them a pass. But if they've been in business 5, 10, 15, 20 years, people should know them. People should know who they are. People should be able to speak to the quality of their character, right? And let's not be confused. People make mistakes all the time. I make mistakes. There are other people that make mistakes, but I'm talking about the quality of their character. Will they be accountable and step up to those mistakes? Will they address those mistakes, right? But again, you want to speak to the quality of their character, or you want to have people speak to the quality of their character, not to the amount of tax refund that you're getting. All right. So listen, that's all I got. If anybody wants to connect with me or check in with me, you can easily text me at 215-974-0058. Again, 215-974-0058. All right, y'all. Appreciate everybody being here. Love is love, and y'all all have a great day. So long, everybody.